All right, let's get right into it. We all have that list of things, right? The stuff we know we should be doing. Hitting the gym, cleaning the house, tackling that super boring project at work. But when it's actually time to do them, suddenly anything and everything else seems way more interesting. So today we're going to break down a brilliantly simple strategy to beat that exact feeling.
I mean, this is the classic dilemma, isn't it? Your brain is screaming for that instant hit of dopamine from the new season that just dropped on Netflix, but your conscience is just nagging you about that mountain of laundry or the treadmill that's become a very expensive coat rack. But what if you didn't have to choose? What if you could actually use one to power the other?
And really, this all boils down to that universal, everyday struggle with motivation. We're always told the answer is just more willpower, Just be more disciplined. Just force yourself to do the things you don't want to do. But let's be honest, that is exhausting. And most of the time, it just doesn't work.
And that list goes on, right? It could be doing your taxes, cleaning out the fridge, or making those phone calls you keep pushing to tomorrow. These are those necessary but totally unfun parts of life that just seem to suck the energy right out of you just by thinking about them. We've all been there.
So if just gritting our teeth and using willpower isn't the answer, then what is? Well, the solution is surprisingly clever. And frankly, a little bit sneaky. It's not about trying to become some super disciplined person overnight. Instead, it's about designing a smarter system for the person you already are.
And here it is. It's called temptation bundling. This term was coined by a researcher named Katie Milkman. And the idea is just as simple as it sounds. You literally take a temptation, something you already love to do, and you bundle it or pair it with a task you usually put off.
And the logic here is just beautiful. You're not trying to magically find the motivation to do the dreaded task itself. No. Instead, you're making the entire experience more fun by tacking on an immediate, guaranteed pleasure. It's basically like you're bribing yourself, and it absolutely works.
Okay, so how do you actually build one of these bundles in real life? It's really just a simple two-step process.
First, you got to pick your want. Maybe it's listening to that true crime podcast you're obsessed with, or watching your favorite YouTuber. Then you identify your should, that chore you hate, like folding a gigantic pile of laundry. Now, the really crucial part, the secret sauce, is step 2. You have to make a rule for yourself that you are only allowed to enjoy that pleasure while you are doing that chore. No cheating.
So here are a few killer combinations to get your wheels turning. You could make a pact with yourself. I only watch my show on Netflix while I'm on the treadmill. Or maybe I only let myself buy that fancy coffee from the cafe while I'm powering through my boring emails. See what happens? The want becomes the reward for getting the should done. Pretty soon, you might actually start looking forward to doing your chores. Crazy, right?
So why does this work so well? What's the psychological magic happening here? Well, it turns out it's not just one thing. It's actually two powerful principles working together in perfect harmony.
Yeah, this isn't just some clever life hack. It's actually grounded in how our brains are wired to respond to rewards and incentives. So let's break down this awesome duo.
This is where you get that amazing 2-for-1 punch. The first principle is called incentive stacking. This is all about making that unpleasant task better right now, in the moment. Running on a treadmill is boring, but running while watching your favorite show, that stacks an immediate reward right on top, making it way less painful. The second principle is reward coupling. This is the long game. Over time, your brain starts to connect the dots and builds a positive association. It couples the chore with the pleasure. So eventually, the idea of folding laundry doesn't feel so bad because your brain knows, hey, that means I get to listen to my podcast. One makes the present better, and the other builds the habit for the future.
All right, so now it's your turn. I want you to think about your own life. What's a guilty pleasure you can use? What's that one chore you always put off? The real key here is finding that perfect pairing that works specifically for you.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, first, this little trick can totally reframe how you think about chores, turning dread into something you actually look forward to. Second, it helps you build good, sustainable habits by creating a smart system instead of just trying to force it with willpower, which we know runs out. And finally, it takes those things you might feel a little guilty about, like binge watching a show for hours, and it actually makes them productive. It's a total win-win.
And that's really the big idea to leave you with. Maybe we've been looking at motivation all wrong. Instead of trying to fight our desires and our temptations, maybe the smartest thing we can do is to harness them, to bundle them up to build a better, more productive life. One episode and one chore at a time.